welcome to Film 504. I'm Will Blank.
And my name is Uzef.
I'm from New Orleans, Metairie technically, and been interested in writing and filmmaking since I was probably 5. My mother had a video camcorder, VHS tapes, and me and my friends would make movies, all that stuff, but it was always in me.
Do you still have any of them?
They're somewhat cut off. They're not in full because I translated from VHS to blank DVDs, then to electronic file, AVI, and then I think I still had to go from AVI to MP4. But they're there.
Yeah.
Just not in like a hour-and-a-half film, if you will. You might find like 4 clips with pieces of each film.
Right.
What about you?
Well, I'm a writer-director.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. Moved here to St. Bernard Parish about 3 years ago. I took a little bit of a hiatus from making movies because I had a kid, my first kid.
Yeah.
But now they're getting a bit older and old enough for daycare and stuff like that, so I've been gearing up to get back into making some films.
Yeah.
You want to talk about how we met?
Sure, yeah.
So we met actually at technically we met at the meet and greet, but it was for the Full Armor Films Conservatory Writers Workshop Intensive. I think it's all that stuff. And it was put on by Tom Fontana, which is a legendary screenwriter, and we were both accepted into this workshop. So that's where we first met.
That was really cool. Tom was obviously he has decades of experience. He, created the show St. Elsewhere, Oz on HBO, and many other different shows and different produced with films and etc. He works with Barry Levinson a lot.
Yeah, he's done it all. Like whatever you can do in professional screenwriting, he's done it.
Yeah, and what the thing was too about him is that he was just so freaking cool. Like,
He was really real. Like he was down to earth and honest, like very honest. I really like when he laid out like how to approach speaking to execs and stuff like that. It was really funny.
Yeah.
He was a really cool dude.
Yeah, so it was refreshing.
Yeah.
I would say a majority of people that are successful in the industry are probably cool people. You hear these little snippets of prima donnas, etc., but that's I think in the end a minority.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Film 504, our podcast that we shall do weekly, yes? We just want to basically, include the film community here in New Orleans, the local film community, and talk about different things with going on with that. Also, try to get some people to talk as guests about what they're working on and what their goals are, etc. And of course, the film community as a whole, not just local New Orleans, but that's, I think one of the prime focal points here. And anyone can listen. You don't have to be in love with filmmaking or even do it to just see what the hell we have to say. We have our little quote of the day. Okay, so quote of the day, went to a restaurant that serves breakfast at any time, so I ordered French toast during the Renaissance. Stephen Wright. That's that. Back to movies for a little bit. What is something you have seen recently that you like?
So it kind of ties into what we were talking about just now.
Ghostbusters?
No.
Oh, okay.
Man.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
No. The Christopher Nolan movie, Interstellar?
Interstellar. Okay.
Yeah, so I saw Interstellar recently. I saw it when it came out, and I really liked it. But I really liked it when it first came out. because of this like multi-dimensional aspect of it. And at the time I was doing like a lot of mushrooms and DMT and stuff like that. So I was like primed for that type of story. But I watched it like a couple weeks ago, and I'm sober now. I don't do anything, and I have a kid now. Those are like the two big differences. And the movie hit me on such a different level. Like as a father, it hit me. How the whole movie is basically the story of a dad trying to get back to his kids, trying to get back to his daughter. I didn't really appreciate that part of the story.
I haven't seen it. So
Oh, okay. Do you know the basic plot of it?
like stellars are intertwined
Right.
somehow.
They're inside
Yeah,
the
something
stellars.
like
Yeah. Well, I'll do a quick synopsis.
Okay.
Basically, like, something's wrong with the Earth. It's no longer hospitable. Matthew McConaughey plays an astronaut that gets sent on a mission to try to discover different worlds where we can live other than Earth. And he kind of gets lost. He goes down a wormhole and he gets lost, and he's in a dimension where like 1 hour there is like 10 years on Earth.
Okay.
So all this time is passing on Earth. His kid's going from like a child to a woman to an old lady. Yeah. And long story short, spoiler alert, eventually he gets back to her, but she's like 90 years old now, and he's barely aged. So that's essentially the story without spoiling too much of it.
I have sort of a lackadaisical, ambivalent relationship with Christopher Nolan.
You know what? I think I do too. It's interesting that you said that. So I watch his movies and I'm like, this is a great fucking movie, but I don't think of him as like one of the masters, you know, like even though he might be, but I just don't see him that way for some reason.
Yeah, I understand his main niche is grand and spectacular and all that, and I don't knock that, and I don't knock him as an artist or what have you. Just it doesn't. A lot of his like stories and such just don't hit me because I feel like they are can be a little unsubstantial.
I would say he's definitely not. He doesn't get too deep into character. He gets deep into story, deep into plot, but not so much characters. None of his films are really like character explorations.
Right. Yeah. And then I read that he's like remaking Memento.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? He's remaking his own movie?
Yeah.
Yikes.
I can't tell. Don't quote me on if it's like frame per frame and like everything is the same, whatever. But yeah, I read about that.
Wow. That's bizarre.
And I really liked Memento. I think it made more of a splash when it came out. Not saying it's aged, but it's like, okay, yeah, it's not as like, oh my God, what a...
Well, it relies on...
interesting or unique. I mean, it is unique in that time.
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is since the 20 plus years, there's been other films that have gotten other things.
But what about you? Have you seen any like interesting
things?
I
mean, my favorite film I've seen within the last 2 or 3 months, and I've only seen it once, and it's like I'm gonna buy it. That's an honor to a film. When I purchase something, it means I fucking love it.
Yeah.
American Fiction.
Which one was that?
It came out about 1.5 years ago. Jeffrey, I want to say Wright.
Yeah,
the African American guy with the beard. He's great, and I've seen him in a lot of things prior to. But it is so funny and like just goddamn good.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I always like to say it's funny and all, but it's not like a gag comedy or what have you or something. It's just a good fucking movie. And I laughed aloud like about 5 or 6 times, and I'm not a big aloud laughter.
Right.
Laugher. A loud laugher. But I did, and it just it was fantastic.
Basically, like he writes a bad book on purpose, something like that, but it blows up.
Yes, he has to. He's told by his like publisher or manager, his manager, that publishers want a black book.
Right.
Want a really black book.
Right.
And he's like all, educated and really, and he's kind of a bitter person to society or something. He's kind of like that. And he's just like, oh, really? Jesus. And so he's like, he has to almost be like, okay, like reluctantly write a book that's like really black.
Right.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it on Prime.
Yeah.
No, I'm not plugging Prime. Okay, you know.
We have
Just
to
how
help.
am I
We have
supposed
to
to
help.
talk?
We have to help the small businesses.
Yeah, really. Bezos. How do you say it? Bezos?
I don't really know. I feel like it changes.
Bezos or Bezos?
Yeah, I like Bezos.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Never met the guy. I can only say so much. You know, but, oh shit, late breaking news here. Thank you. Excuse me, this is late breaking good news for everyone. A woman who lives in mid-city New Orleans lost her dog, Sparky, a week ago. She was very concerned and didn't know how Sparky got out of the backyard. Luckily, she was pretty well off financially and posted pictures of Sparky around Mid-City with a $15,000 reward for anyone that finds the dog. A few days later, a man came by her house with Sparky, and the dog was just fine. So she thanked him immensely and said that she'll write him a check. He told her, don't worry about it. All that mattered was to get the dog back home. Now take care. The woman insisted, but the man just walked away. So, now we can only assume that Sparky has a lot of stories to tell her. That's good.
I would have taken the money.
You would have taken the money?
Yeah.
Oh. 15,000? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
I mean, if it was $15, I would have taken the money.
Oh, okay.
For sure. Yeah.
But not 15,000?
No, 15,000.
Oh, okay.
I would have taken any amount of money.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's very nice of that guy to do that, but
sure.
He probably had some money to do that.
But, I mean, you know, we don't know. It's good-natured people. Hey, you know.
See, I think bringing the dog back is the good-natured part.
Yes.
Not taking the money, that's something else.
Okay.
I can't say what it is exactly.
It's like a dick move or something?
No, not a dick move, but
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I know people who do stuff like that, and I'm like, what? I don't know. There's like a complex or something.
Well, maybe it was like an angel.
It could have been.
It could have been.
Dressed a real life angel.
Yeah, dressed in some New Orleans mid-city street garb.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know.
Seersucker.
I don't know what he looked like. I don't. Yeah. So who knows? Sure, most people would probably take in the 15 grand, but
that's also a nice reward.
That's a nice reward. It looks like she was very, like they said, well off financially. Posted pictures of Sparky. I mean, what kind of dog is Sparky to be worth 15 grand?
Yeah, and that's straight from the newsroom, so you know it's true.
Right.
Our newsroom does not mess around.
No, they're right over there. Thank y'all. I appreciate it. Keep it up. Anyway, what were we talking about? Ghosts. Ghosts. I'm so fascinated with ghosts. I want to meet one. Like, all right, first of all, do you believe in that thing? Or do you, like spirits, or like that you can see one?
I believe that your soul or consciousness or whatever is separate from your body.
Yeah.
And I think it goes somewhere when you die.
Yeah.
But I don't think they stay on Earth.
Okay.
And can still be viewed by regular 3D humans like us.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, there's like, you're like, as in, there's an energy.
Right.
That may still be present, but it's not like take on a human form.
It's like an intangible, abstract energy, you know? And it could be almost like a quantum thing where, you know, you're thinking about someone that's no longer here, and all of a sudden you feel their presence or something like that,
right.
You know? By thinking about them, you sort of brought out that energy, you know? Doesn't mean it's totally something you made up, but, you know, it's like this synergy of those two things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess maybe in the way you mean it, like ghosts, like traditional ghosts.
Yeah, I think, I mean,
like haunted houses.
It's still
New Orleans.
I mean, what you're saying is still relative, of course. It's not just I'm saying like that. I think spirits can be seen. I've never seen one. Well, hold on, I'll take it back in a second. Why is my microphone down? But What do you think on, like, do you think they can, like, move shit?
No.
Like, you don't think, like, oh, like a chair can go or something?
Not because the deceased soul of a person pushed it.
Okay. But what would have pushed it if
Like
no
a
one's
weird
there?
electromagnetic force, or there's certain spots on the earth where they get weird electromagnetic readings and weird radiation readings, and no one knows why. Like maybe in those spots, furniture is more likely to move by itself. But I don't think it's like a person's
ghost.
deceased spirit doing it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But look, I'm gonna show you, and then maybe we can post these pictures. My fiance and I stayed.
It's just like a picture of a ghost.
Yeah. I'm gonna show you. Look. Yeah, it's Slimer from Ghostbusters. No. My fiance and I stayed at Myrtle's Plantation in St. Francisville, Louisiana, which is said to be haunted, and I firmly believe is. Because you can stay over there. It's a bed and breakfast. I'm sure a lot of people are aware of it, but it's really cool. And so first, my fiance took this picture at night. Something's peeking through the window. Like the curtains are kind of pushed aside. Okay.
It kind of looks like a bear, like a teddy bear.
All right, well, look, this is one, now, real quick, this is one I took the next morning. Again, no one's staying in this area. Look at the curtain being pushed to the side. And
It looks like something's there, but I can't, it doesn't look clear enough to be a thing to
it's
me.
supposed to be a little girl.
Okay.
Like a little girl that died in that place,
Uh-huh.
like 100 or so years ago, whatever. But yeah, what else can be pushed in the curtain if you just look at the curtain?
You saw it move?
No, this is a picture. This isn't like
No,
a
but
video.
I'm saying
No,
you saw the curtain move, or you just saw it was moving
I
like
didn't.
that already?
I saw it was pushed to the side.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I mean, there could just be a thing there.
What's a
that
thing?
Like a little shelf that the curtain is caught on, and that's why it's
no,
staying open.
why? No, why
That
would it?
seems more logical than a ghost.
No, but nobody's in there. Nobody stays in there. Nothing.
But a window could have been open. The wind pushed the
No,
curtain.
you can't open those windows. Anyway, I think
So you're a believer.
I am.
Okay.
The other reason too is that I yearn to like have a real ass experience.
Ever since I was a kid, I did too. Like, I always wanted to see a ghost. I always wanted to see an alien or a UFO. I was always so open to that stuff, but it never happened.
Well, yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know when an alien might come visit, but you have a better chance of probably seeing a spirit.
Right.
The aliens don't, I think, want to come.
I think I have met an alien, which I'll get into in another segment.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'll tie it in somehow.
Right. They'll. I don't think they want to come here though, because they see how warlike we are, and they're really and they're very peaceful.
Well, I think it's the same thing like what I was talking about with spirits. Like, I don't think there is a thing like a physical alien that exists in our 3D reality. But I think there's extra dimensional entities that might be able to interact with us, but not in like a direct physical way. More like in a mystical way, or like, I don't know, spiritual way, for lack of a better term. Yeah.
Right. So like we're essentially looking in and living in the 3D reality when there's actually a 4th and 5th D.
Right. And maybe
that we don't see.
A lot of levels above that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like X number, right.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, can things from the different dimensions interact with each other? Because then there would be ghosts.
Oh, they're probably having a party. I mean, the ghosts are having parties, I think, all the time. It's just, I mean, the good ones.
It brings up so many bad questions, though. Like, what if you're a ghost and you're damned to be stuck in a bathroom for all eternity because that's where you were killed and there was never closure to your murder, and you just have to watch people shit for eternity?
Well, that might be a hell. I mean,
guess
maybe
that
they
would
were
be
a very
something
bad
like that.
person.
Right.
You know?
No, it just so happened. Or, you were a caveman and you died on the plane, and then they built a condo there, and
Yeah.
You know, it's not a plane anymore. It's something else.
A plane? Why would a caveman be on a plane?
like a
Oh,
plane.
a plane of
Yeah.
land.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I didn't think there. Yeah. I think
It just brings up so many you know, as a writer,
Yeah, I know.
like a logic problem that you would have in your script, you know?
Right. However, that goes for full circle in saying that multiple dimensions, etc., we can't grasp with our human logic.
Right, for
So
sure.
logic and rationalism, etc., is our way of reasoning, but that's the only thing we're capable of.
Right.
There's so many other higher intelligences, so it's almost like you can't exactly explain it away.
Yeah.
With our own form
Yeah.
of, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Right. So that, like, I guess brings me to, you know, what's certain, I guess, for you, maybe some short-term goals right now or whatever now, because obviously, you've been here for 3 years, nonetheless, et cetera. What's your...
Yeah, well, I didn't do anything for a long time, and now, of course, I feel like there's too much stuff going on, but I'm writing a short right now that I want to make, like a comedic short.
Yeah.
Taking place here in St. Bernard. I'm also making a documentary currently in production about an area that's close to here, like a historic black township that was started by a freed slave who fought for the Union during the Civil War. And it was like a community, a thriving community of thousands of people back in its heyday, and now there's just like a couple dozen people that live there.
Yeah.
And they're all very advanced in age and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
basically their story and the history of their community is kind of
Right.
told by them.
Yeah. About, I guess, as of now, how far along are you with it?
I filmed like 30% of it, I would say.
That's cool.
I still have a lot of people left to interview and
Yeah.
some exterior drone shots, stuff like that. But yeah, we're about 30% done, and currently looking for applying to some grants to see if we can get some help making it. Trying to get a bare bones crew together. We're looking to have it release hopefully sometime early next year.
Yeah. Cool. That's good. That's interesting. Because what was the town called again?
It's called Verret, or
Verret.
sometimes known as Verretville.
Okay. Yeah, because I'd never heard of it, and
Most people haven't.
right.
It's if you Google it and stuff, you don't see that much info on it. There's
Yeah.
not a lot on it. I think maybe there was one book written
Yeah.
in the 90s or something. Even the parish itself doesn't really seem to promote that area or its history and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why I want to do it, just because people don't know about it. And you're from Louisiana, right? Born and raised.
Sure. Yeah. Right.
And you've never heard of it, and
No.
most people haven't. And it's really an amazing story. And yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's cool. Yeah, eager to see it.
Yeah.
When it comes. Me myself, I gotta do something as far as trying to be active. I don't have any equipment and et cetera, and I'm also not knowledgeable of the equipment. I could
Right.
probably, show you how to use a VHS camcorder, but after that, I wouldn't be. But I know people and different people.
Right.
Obviously, you and I are friends, et cetera.
But you got a phone too.
I got
You
a
got
phone.
You got a
No, right.
smartphone.
Sure. No, right. And I have filmed various things with it, with certain lenses, etc., but nothing that is like a film or anything. The only thing I've actually released on it using it was my sit-down comedy thing that I have on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like 8 different sit-down comedy because I'm sitting down.
But it's essentially like a stand-up routine.
Yeah, it's comedy.
Yeah.
It's stand-up comedy.
Cool.
Me sitting, it's like 8 or 9 minutes per. I did it a few years ago.
Have you ever done stand-up live?
Yes.
Yeah.
Open mic and like a handful of minutes
Yeah.
when I was slated to do stuff.
How was it? How'd you like it?
Oh, it was fine. I loved it. I mean, I like doing it. write everything, and I guess don't stay as active with it. I haven't done it in a while. So my primary thing is screenwriting, writing films and television shows, what have you. And those other things, while I love doing them, they're, tertiary. So that's why I hadn't, I guess, stayed too much intact with that. But the guy that we'll have next week as a guest, he goes by Nature Boy. He hosts the open mic at Howlin' Wolf every Thursday. Great guy. He's been doing stand-up for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to pick his brain some more, but really cool. He's done it for a while. So, but yeah, also it's a matter, I guess, with film, I mean, what avenues do you have to try to connect more with the, let's say, local film people?
Honestly, I'm just starting to do all that now.
Yeah.
As far as networking goes and all that.
Yeah.
That was a big part of why I applied to the workshop that we did.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just keeping active, making shorts, applying to local film festivals, and just kind of trying to establish somewhat of an idea of myself out here as a filmmaker. That because one thing I learned is that the filmmaking community in Louisiana is very small, as opposed to what I was used to in New York, which is everyone you run into is a filmmaker or an actor or whatever.
Sure.
So it seems like you could actually get eyes on your film, good like the right eyes on your film out here, as opposed to New York, where it's just it's too competitive.
Right.
So yeah, I guess that's kind of my plan, is to just keep making shorts, keep putting myself out there, keep applying to different workshops, applying for grants, and yeah, just staying productive in producing things.
Yeah. What avenues are you taking with grants, or are you able to say?
If you just Google Film Grants Louisiana,
Yeah.
Most of them are done through, well, not done through them, but what's that organization?
Louisiana Film and Entertainment or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like
But you just Google them, and what started happening to me because of the algorithms now on Instagram, because I was searching for a few things.
Yeah.
Now I get recommended grants on Instagram. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot, and some of them are local, like they apply to Louisiana. Some of them are more like Southern centric, like they just apply to the South. There's national ones. I didn't know it was such a big thing. I didn't know there were so many grants out there, but there's a lot out there, and regardless of what you're doing in film, there's a grant out there for you.
Yeah.
So they just want to see that you've done things in the past and you're a real person, because once they give you the money, it's yours to keep. So there's no guarantee that you're going to then go make a movie.
Right.
So the process for how they select people is pretty strict. Like the applications have been crazy. They're long, and you gotta submit a lot of stuff. Way more stuff than we had to submit for this workshop.
Right. So like your third grade math papers, or
Basically, yeah. Even if you have ones that your dog ate or whatever, just throw those in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a lot of work for like $1,000, maybe $5,000. But I also think there's something like prestige that comes with getting accepted into those things. You can say that you can put it in your credits or on your film posters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it makes a difference, I think.
Yeah.
It's like a laurel. If you get selected into a film festival, you put a laurel on your thumbnail for your video.
Sure.
And it makes it look better to people for some reason.
Yeah. Well, and cool too. I'm not, if you're already aware, I'm not sure, but the New Orleans Film Festival is like one of the best in the country.
It's a big one.
Like most revered, or one of the most revered, etc. And then they accept local films and all that. Granted, I don't have anything produced. Everything exists in here, as far as script-wise. And that's the thing too. I'm just like we were talking earlier. I'm like, I know there's no like one magical secret on how to get forward in this business,
Yeah.
etc. Because that's always where I see it is, the worlds of the art and the creativity, which is intangible and all in here, and then the cold hard business of it, and how you can start doing it. Because I mean, I have like a degree in English,
Right.
concentration creative writing, so that means I serve tables. And so you don't just walk into a place after you graduate with your degree and
Right.
the writing building,
Right.
and like, hey, I want to be a writer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as it is these days, you just frickin' do it yourself.
Yeah, it's a whole new world now.
Yeah. You don't have to go out to Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah. Even when I was younger, I didn't even think of being a filmmaker because it was so heavily gate kept. Like you needed to have at least 1 year at a film school,
Yeah.
or access to that type of equipment.
Yeah.
You needed a lot. Even just to have like an editing suite was a big deal.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, you can have a cinema grade camera for under $2,000. You can
Right.
have a full editing suite that they use to make Hollywood movies with.
Yeah.
So the barrier to entry is a lot less than it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I lived in Los Angeles. I mean, when I finished my creative writing degree, right, I was one of about, 6 million people out there that wanted to do it.
Right.
So, but I always have my favorite boss still to this day was the first boss I had when I was in Los Angeles in Sherman Oaks. His name was Martin Gage. And he had a talent and literary agency, a boutique one. And I ended up getting the job as a literary agent assistant.
Nice.
And he was this old Jewish guy from Brooklyn. And he was just so funny. He'd just come in and he's like, hey, how you doing, sweetheart? You like your job? It's good? And I'm like, yeah, I like it. Yeah, you're good at it. It's good. You're so sweet, and all this. And then he had an agency in New York too. And so he would come in at like 2 PM.
Right.
And all. And I remember one day he came in, he's like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, good. He's like, I've been on the phone with New York all morning. Everybody thinks I'm at home jerking off. I'm working, God damn it. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that. Don't worry. He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, good.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, no, well, I didn't even start to, but he was fun. And he had a small agency, etc. They start people out, and they would get gobbled up by William Morris, etc. Like Woody Harrelson started with him, John Travolta, Jack Black, some others, nonetheless, that he had talked about before,
Right.
and all. Well, cool deal. That's a good little first run, I'd say. Yeah.
Yep.
So we wish to do this every week. Engage in some form or fashion if you can. And we are just, obviously, this is episode 1, so I'm talking to an audience of 0 as of this second. But we are obviously wanting to gather some audiences, so we, going to do different things, what have you. Basically the same setup. This isn't anything that Christopher Nolan would direct. It's, we'll just,
We'll have more character development than that.
Oh yeah, I hope we were a little more interesting characters
Yeah.
than all the people in Christopher Nolan films. No, I'm kidding. I like Christian Bale.
Yeah.
And
Tom-
Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Tom Hardy.
Yeah. Oh, that's the other thing too. Just a little shout out. I want to also try to say some things about things that are going on in the town, New Orleans, entertainment purposes every week. I just bought a ticket to David Cross. He's going to be at Tipitina's.
Nice.
August 25th.
Nice.
So, never seen him in person, so that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
A little stand-up comedy. And as I think you and I may have said before, I first found him on Mr. Show.
Yep.
Same with Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah.
So, but I was addicted to that show, even though, yeah, it was like 4 seasons, whatever. But I own them all on DVD.
Yeah.
I have for some time now. But fans of both of them on anything they do, not just Mr. Show. Bob Odenkirk popped up in no, he didn't pop up in a dream of mine recently. I was talking to some guy, I don't know who it was, but was, I guess, sort of in the industry. And I said something like, yeah, I just read it's actually a really good book, his biography, Bob Odenkirk's comedy, drama. I own it, it's great. I said something about that book, like, oh yeah, well that, and the guy's like, oh yeah, well I know Bob Odenkirk, and I'm like, oh
Wow.
really? I'm like, and then we were like in a social area, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm like, because I started to start telling him about Bob Odenkirk.
Right.
Like he didn't know who he was, and
Right.
he's like, no, I'm friends with him. Like,
Right.
oh, okay, well, and I think I ended up saying, tell him I loved his biography, and that was it. I don't know if is it really boring hearing other people's dreams, but anyway, I had to get it out. So, Bob, if you're listening one day,
You were 2 degrees or 1 degree removed from Bob Odenkirk in your dreams.
yes, and I don't know who your friend was. I will never know, but hope y'all are still friends. At any rate, yeah. So as I said, we'll have a little guest next week. Mm-hmm. He goes by Nature Boy. His real name's Nate Jackson. He's a stand-up comic for a good while and a real fun guy, and just his own, little story and his ideas about our collective creative arts community in New Orleans. New Orleans. That came out brutal.
I say New Orleans
New Orleans.
because I'm not from here.
But I like just blended the two words, like New Orleans. Fuck that. Okay.
That's usually how people say it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like maybe 2 in the afternoon when everybody's drunk.
It's just Nolans. It's
Yeah,
one thing.
Nolans, yeah. So anyway. All right. So anything else from you?
Nope.
Good deal. Yeah, okay.
Is that thing plugged in?
I don't know. It's going weird.